Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Today I will start almost our last day in the module number 5 for the operations security operation. Yesterday we reviewed, we covered some related topics for the operations, security operations. And as you saw yesterday, that we are highlighting some important topics which are related only for the operations. We were not speaking about designs or whatever. We are speaking how you can make a configuration, how you can make a configuration of a firewall, what are the different types of IDS, and how we can insert it in environment in the network. We have the host IDS, we have network IDS, we have host firewall, we have network firewall. What is the difference between the IBS and the IDS? What is the function of the honeypots vulnerability assessments? We mentioned that the vulnerability assessments, it's not under your control, because this it will be under the control of the cloud service provider, and you have to accept any third-party reports or international certificates. We spoke about the bastion hosts or the jumper hosts, and we mentioned how we can work together, how you can hardening the operating systems, whatever the version, and also they consider VMware as an operating system, because as I mentioned to you that the VMware, it will be installed on the top of the per metal device. How you can make the baselines and batch management, and what are the procedures and the steps of the batch management. It is very important to know these steps. It's very important, because in some situation we'll find some questions. Also, we spoke about the availability of the physical hosts, and we mentioned the performance monitoring, and we mentioned that we have two types of monitoring. Very important. This is the second time I highlight this point. You have to know what are the components of performance monitoring. There are 4 components: memory, processor, storage, and the network. This is very important to know these 4 components. You have also the hardware component monitoring as well. These are the session which we covered yesterday, and today we will start our session by the management plan. What is management plan, gentlemen? Any answer?
It is basically like a kind of a console wherein you are trying to manage multiple hypervisors in this one, in the cloud service, in the cloud service provider environment.
Okay, it is not hypervisors, it is the whole infrastructure, because you may have other services which is not related to virtualization. You may have a load balancer. You may have global switch router, whatever. But this is the administration. This is the administration and the management of all the resources which you lease from the cloud service provider. And of course, we mentioned this, it's very critical, very important. This, it will give you all the control for the environment. It must be scheduled and, it must be protected. Don't never, ever allow it in clear text. You must use VPN, you must use 2FA, and so on. Hi. It is very important. Okay.
So, sir, yeah. I have a question here. So let us say as a customer, I have a hybrid environment. Okay, I have a private cloud, and whenever there is a cloud bursting, I move some of my applications from private to public. Okay. So in that case, as a customer for a private cloud, will I have the access of management plane, or still the access will be with the cloud service provider?
No, for the one which is on-prem, it's under your totally control. It is transparent to the cloud service provider. Transparent. Cloud service provider has nothing to do with this. It will act like that. You have private and you have public. You are using here something called orchestration. This, it will be able to work between both of them. But here you will have your management, and this it's yours, totally yours. Public, we don't have anything to do it. Only the public, it will be used only if you have, as you mentioned, a burst. You have pre-configured thresholds. If these thresholds reached, then the traffic, it will be moved into the cloud. And when we reach pre-configured thresholds return to its normal traffic, then you will go to the private once more. But here it is totally under your control, and he does not have anything here to do for your private infrastructure. Okay. In the management plan, it is important to understand something, gentlemen. Number one, something called scheduling. What is the scheduling? The scheduling is what are the potential outages, how it can be handled. Yani, for example, you may need to, you remember yesterday when we mentioned maintenance, what is we call it, maintenance cycle, I think. We have a specific maintenance mode, yes, maintenance mode. The maintenance mode. What is the maintenance mode? We mentioned that you have usually, it is pre-configured or predefined period every year that the network, it will be down and the service, it will be down for maintenance, for AC maintenance, for power maintenance, for uploading fixes or whatever, anything you want to do during this period, it will be accepted. I know most of, in Saudi Arabia, you know, our holiday, it's on Friday, Sunday, Friday and Saturday. We do it 12 a.m. till 8 a.m. on Saturday. And we are doing it 7 times per year, I think. I'm not sure, 7 or 8, I'm not sure. It depends. It depends upon the size of the data center. But when you will have planned these schedules, this is very important. You have to define what is the time of the day. Yani, for example, when we will make this downtime, believe it or not, gentlemen, for myself as Usama, I don't know that they in my organization that my network is down from 12 to 8 a.m. On Saturday. This time I am sleeping. I woke up on every Saturday about 10 a.m. or maybe 11 a.m. And usually on Friday, I will be out of town to picnic or whatever. But this is a suitable time to make it downtime. Your users, they will not feel, or your customers, they will not feel that this is downtime. But we have one of the challenges with the cloud service providers. What is it? Do you know what is the challenge here with the cloud service providers in the scheduling?
There can be no downtime, actually. Time zone difference?
Yes. You must have a downtime. You must have. Because by end of the day, it's a data center, gentlemen. They want to make an AC maintenance. They want to do whatever they want to do. It's a data center. I can understand that, yes, even if they want to make a data center, they can migrate it into other data center and all this stuff. Okay, I can understand. But in some situation, there may be a fix and it's very critical. We want to load it or whatever. Then we really challenge here zone. Why this really a challenge? Suppose that now I am here in Saudi Arabia, it is 7:30 p.m. Usually our working hours, it is from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Then when we will say, okay, I will make it downtime at 7:30, it's okay. It will not be so active. But at the same time, for you, this it will be very critical, right? Why? Because now in your site, it's almost 11:30 a.m. And if you are working from 8 to 4, then this means that it is in the middle of the day. When the really challenge, it will be the problem of the time zone. And this it will be a real problem, real challenge. You will see that later. I will speak about this real challenges. One of the, look, gentlemen, take it as a rule. When you will find challenges, think about it. Time zone, size of the data, size of the traffic, number of the networks, the huge number of the logs. These are the real challenges as we faced in the IPS. IPS, how many networks do we have? What is the size of the data in your LAN or your organization? It can reach to up 1 tera, 2 tera. This it will be a huge size. But in the Azure, for example, it can reach to 1,000 tera. Thousands, not thousands, thousands there. When these are the challenge. When the challenge in the scheduling to choose the time, it is very important to provide the management plan. And 1 minute, what we are speaking about, don't be confused. I am not speaking about the service. Users, we are not feeling this. I am speaking about what? I will put it in red color. Management plan. Management, sorry, I type it wrong. It is plan with E. Management plane. Because this is very important to understand that this is for management. For management, it's only for management. How many times do you need the management? 1, 2, 3 times per day? It is very important when you have to work with the cloud service provider to understand when it will be down. I am not speaking about the service. Why? This is very important, gentlemen. I need your concentration. Now, the downtime, we mentioned that the SLA, it should define this for the management plan. But when we will speak about the services, I will say I need 24/7 by 365. No downtime. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. As we mentioned, if you have a data center, it will be down. I can migrate the data into other data center. But sometimes we need to load some fixes to do whatever. Okay, it depends upon the size of cloud service provider. I know AWS, we have 54 data center all over the world. We are distributed across the world. But if they get one side down, it will not affect the other data centers and so on. Then please, all what we are saying now, it is for management plan. It's for management plan. Okay. This first thing, which is the scheduling. What is the second thing? The second thing, it is orchestration. And excuse me, because I know that I don't know to read it in a proper way, but I don't know. I have a problem in pronouncing this word. What is orchestration doing? This orchestration, it is the use of automation. Use of automation, and usually it will be used for proficient server if you want to make a new server, scale the server. This server, it can be scaled, as we mentioned, dynamic scaling. If we need some additional resources and all this stuff and allocate resources, it can be done automatically based on some pre-configured conditions and rules. If you want to print the invoices or know what are the billing and the reporting information, this it will be from the orchestration. Then this means that how many times you need this exercise, it depends upon your size. If you are managing one server, it will be totally different from managing 10 servers, totally different from managing a whole data center, and so on. But again, it will be 5, 6, 7, 8 times per day. And again, SLA agreement, it is very important to arrange it with the cloud service provider to know when this management plan it will be down for maintenance. Okay, you have also the maintenance. Now this number 3, orchestration, it was number 2, and the scheduling, it was number 1. And we are speaking under the topic of management plan. Good. For the maintenance, you need to have the normal, regular maintenance, that which you know it. This for the operations of the customer, for the service. And of course, this which we call it maintenance mode. This maintenance mode. It can depend upon the high availability and redundancy, where you don't need to shut down the service. You can move it into move the service into another host and do whatever you want on this host, and after you finish the update of the original host, migrate the data back and do it for the other device, and so on. Then this, it will provide you the service. Then for the maintenance, when you usually say maintenance, this it means for the service. For the service, we don't need to have a downtime because we can depend upon HA and redundancy. But for the orchestration or the management plan, yes, it can be needed, because this it can it cannot represent a problem if you are arranging the SLA with your cloud service provider, that it will be done for at a specific time, when it will be accepted for you. Now, gentlemen, we will speak about other topic which it is not so important, because it is related to ITIL. And we are saying we have to implement operational controls and standards. You know what do I like, gentlemen, when I am reading these books and manuals? I like very much that, if you don't mind, just 1 second, please. What I am like very much here, that if we are asking you to utilize the other standards and controls. Yani, if you are in ISO 27001, they will tell you, okay, if you have controls from other standards, it can be integrated with our controls and other requirements. Here in the ISA-CA, we are telling you, please, you can use other controls and standards. We know, we can understand that when you have the best of everything, this it will create rigid services and good infrastructure for you. All the services which we will mention right now, these services are defined by ITIL. They are defined by ITIL. Of course, you know the ITIL. It is IT Infrastructure Library. It is British, and we have best practices solutions for the IT management services. Frankly speaking, it's very helpful if you want to work in the service desks. This it will be really helpful. And also, if you want to run your organization in a professional way, again, these services, they are really best practice. They are really helpful. They are really great for you. In cloud, in CCSB, just know the objective. Just to know the objective, nothing less, nothing more. Only in the change management, they will provide you more details, but the others, it will be only the objective. Okay, first one, it will be the change management. What is the change management? That no changes can be done on your infrastructure without arrangement. And how this arrangement, it will be carried out. Okay, if I have any change, let's say that I want to change a configuration of anything, of a firewall. What I have to do? Number one, I have to do something called RFC, request for a change. And I have to submit this request for a change to something called CAB. CAB, this is Change Advisory Board. Change Advisory Board, it is a board which of a representative from each department. From each department, we have a representative in this CAB. Then, if I have now an RFC, I will take this RFC, I will check it. If it's reasonable and I can do it, then I will provide it to the CAB. They will study it and they will see, is it possible to do it? Yes, it's possible to do it. Great. Then if it's possible to do it, then the CAB, it will approve it. Approve RFC. After that, you have to schedule the RFC. Then implement the changes. Then monitor the changes. Don't forget here, gentlemen, that the documentation. Whatever any changes, it must be documented. Documentations. These are the steps of the CAB. These are the steps of the CAB. Nothing less, nothing more. If this is a procedure, I don't have anything else. But it is very important to understand some things. First of all, we have the RFC. Then Change Advisory Board, it will understand, it will discuss it. If it's approved, then schedule, then implement. Don't forget the monitor. It is very important. Monitoring. It is not just to do the exercise. When you do the changes, you have to monitor it and make sure that it achieves its objectives. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. Then the documentation. These are the steps. Thank you very much. We really appreciate. You don't need to know anything more about this management process. The second management process, which is called continuity management. What is the continuity management? The continuity management, it is the planning of successful restoration of systems or services after unexpected incident or outage or disaster. This means that the ability of the organization to continue its business. It is the ability of the organization to continue its business in an abnormal situation. There is a very important thing you have to understand here, gentlemen. Who define the critical services for the continuity management? For example, suppose that I have 50 service in my organization. Good. Do you think that you need all of them when there is any disaster? Of course not. I need some of them. This which maintain the daily operation. Who define these services? Who would define these services? Any answer? Which we call it critical services.
The management.
صح.
Business.
صح. Right. This is the right answer. It is business. It is the top management. Business, not technical. It's not your role. It is not the enterprise risk management team. It is not this at all. It is a top management. It's a business decision. We have to make something called BIA. Did you hear about this expression before?
Business impact assessment.
Yes. Business impact analysis. What is business impact analysis? It will say, okay, it will take a scenario. Let's say that I have volcano. What will happen? The data, the data center, it will be down. Okay. How many servers do we have? We have 50 servers. Then we will say, first service, I can operate for 5 days. More than that, this means that I will lose so and so every day. Others, I can operate for 2 days. Others, I can operate for 3 days, then I will lose more money, and so on. Then, based on these values which I will lose, they will define the critical services. Then the critical services, it will be defined based on what? On the BIA. On the BIA, on the business impact analysis, which is done by the top management or their representatives. Okay, this is the number 2 for the continuity management. Number 3, you have the information security management. Of course, I will not speak about this at all because you are familiar with it. But the only thing which I want to tell you that what is the information security management it will do, it will protect the CIA of any asset. It will protect the CIA of any asset. Okay. Number 4, incident management. Usually, I like gentlemen to speak about the incident management with problem management. Usually, people are confused between these two expressions. Do you know what is the difference between both of them?
The difference between problem management and incident management?
Yes.
Incident management will tell you about a negative event. Okay, problem management is once you have done the root cause analysis for that particular incident, you find out what is the problem, and it is the core issue, and then you try to find solutions towards solving that problem so that it does not reoccur again.
Okay, you are very, very close. Let's say 90%. Let's put it in organized way. Gentlemen, we have monitoring and measuring. We divided before, we mentioned that we have the performance monitoring, CPU, RAM, network, and storage, and we have hardware monitoring. If we have an event visits an abnormal situation, something which is abnormal situation. If this abnormal situation, it affect CIA, then it will be an incident. If it will be an incident, it will go to the IRT. What is IRT? It is Incident Response Team. We have to work on it and check what is this problem. What is their objective? What is their objective? To recover the service to its to recover the service into operation. We are not caring to solve the problem. We want to retrieve or restore the service. Even if there is any backup, they will say, okay, you have a problem in the server. We are not sure what is that. Take the server out, get me a new server, restore the data, restore the application. It's in the upper and running. User, we are able to log in. Thank you very much. We are on safe side. This is the objective of the incident management. To recover the service as soon as possible. Even if it's not solving the problem, to do it from a backup, to do it a disaster recovery, to fail over into a disaster site, and whatever. When the service is up and running, it will go to the problem management team. What the problem management team, as Brim, he said, I will try to make root cause analysis. What is the problem? How it happened? What will be the solution? And how to prevent this problem from happening again. I want to prevent this problem from happening again. Then I will take the action to stop this problem. Then it will not happen again at all. And take the necessary action. Whatever, there may be some fixes, there may be configuration, maybe zero-day attack, whatever the cause of the problem, and it will be discovered in the problem management and it will be resolved. Okay. Service number 6, it is the release and deployment management. What is the release and deployment management? This usually with services, gentlemen. If you have a new service, what will be the steps? The steps about the service, it will be, the SDLC. It will go through SDLC until the last phase. It is the testing, and it will be tested. Then it will be released. It will be released to be executed in the production environment. Then, when it will be released, it will say, yes, this is a new version. It is version 1, and it will be deployed in the production, and this which we call release and deployment of the application. And of course, here, the most important thing, it is the versioning. Here, versioning. And this one of the points which should come in the SLA with the cloud service provider. Why? You have to care about this. In some situations, gentlemen, you may have some customization for the application or SaaS or whatever, and everything is running fine. Then suddenly the cloud service provider, he came and say that I will update from version X to version Y. Then you find that your data, it's not working, or your application, it's not working. And he say, yes, we are really sorry, this is not compatible. Then we have to keep what we can say, the very old version active. Then if you face this problem, then they will migrate you back into the old version. Then your data, it can be worked. This old version, it must reside in their site for some time. Let's keep it active for 3 months. If you upgrade to the new version, don't remove the old one. The old one, it must be available for 3 months, for 6 months. It depends upon the SLA level agreement. Because if you face any problem, you will be able to go back and run this application again. Okay. Service number 7, it is the configuration management. The configuration management, this is the what we can say, how to maintain and track the information of your IT resources and components. Whatever these components, it can be server, it can be host, it can be switch, router, any appliance, any device, whatever any information about the hardware components, about the settings, about the configuration, about the installed software, about the patches, about the version of the patches, all this information must be reside in a database. Usually this database, it's called CMDB, Configuration Management Database, Configuration Management Database. This, it is very important. And by the way, gentlemen, this is really very important in your practical operations, SMDB. Okay. Service number 10, the service level management. Here, I want you to understand three different terms. Because these are questions in the exam. What are these terms? Number one, SLA. Number two, OLA. Number three, UC. SLA, this the service level agreement. Okay, and service level agreement, this it will be or service level management or the agreement. It will focus on the negotiation implementation of the service level agreements. Whatever the service level agreement between you and the cloud service provider, or between service cloud provider and the cloud service customer, then this it will be cloud service customer and cloud service provider, the SLA. Okay, this is very easy. For the OLA, it's called operational level agreement, not service level agreement, operational level agreement. And operational level agreement, it is similar to the SLA. It is similar to the SLA, but there is only one difference. What is it? That here the two parties which we have the OLA, they are internal units or divisions in the same organization. What do you mean? Okay, I may have OLA with the security department. I am working as I am digitalization department. I'm the digitalization department, and I don't want to invest money to have my security team to provide me the best practices for to protect the digitalization infrastructure. Then what I should do, I have to make an OLA, which is operational level agreement, with the security division in my company. We are both of us in the same organization. Both of us in the same organization. Type. What is the UC? UC, gentlemen, this is an agreement with organization and external service provider or vendor. The underpinning contracts, it is agreement between an organization and external service level, external service provider or vendor. These are the differences between both of them. Okay, this is very important. Usually you will find it as a question in the exam. Service number 9, it is the availability management. And availability management, this it will be related to the redundancy and the high availability. If you have a switch, you have another one, active, standby. It can be through a load balancer, it can through a cluster, whatever. Number 10, the capacity management. What is capacity management? That you have check your capacity and capability to provide resources for your customer. This is very important, especially for cloud service providers. Why it's very important? Because, gentlemen, just imagine if you have infrastructure, it is not able to provide automatic sorry, not automatic, dynamic scaling for your customers. What will happen? Customer, they will consider that you failed and they will try to search for another one, then they will be able to gain more resources when they need it. Then this means that the capacity management, it will make the studies to make sure that you have enough capacity if it's required for your customers. When they need it. It is very important to understand capacity management. It is very important because, unfortunately, if you did not do the exercise well, you will be in a trouble, even if you are under-provisioned or over-provisioned. If you are under-provisioned, then the customers, they will not find the required resources they need. And this, it will consider that you are not able to support their needs and requirements, and they will search for another one. And if you are over-provisioned, then this means that you paid money for nothing and you had 1,000 terabyte, although only you need 500 terabyte. When you have other 500 terabyte which are not used and you are not able to utilize this, or you don't have enough customers to release these resources. This is the importance of the capacity management. Any questions about the management services? Okay, good. Now, gentlemen, we have another interesting topic. And usually when I am teaching this course, I will find all the people who are attending with me are not interested in it. Why? Because this topic, it is not important in Middle East. But I think not today, it will be very important for all of you except Mahmoud, because you are based in America. What is this? Digital forensics. What is digital forensics? Digital forensics, this it is the techniques for collecting and preserving data. This is a technique, or they are techniques for collecting and preserving data. And this is very important because it's fulfill legal and regulatory requirements. Legal and regulatory requirements. It is not a matter of nice to have, or it will provide me more details about my network. And of course, it can do this exercise and it can show you if you have any internal hacker and all this stuff. But mainly digital forensics, it's very important due to the regulatory and laws, regulations, and requirements. Okay. Digital forensics, gentlemen, in traditional data center, it is very easy. I have one data center. I know where the data is stored, what are the servers which are using which data, who is the owner. All this information is very clear. I don't have any problems here. But with the cloud infrastructure, I have a lot of challenges. What are these challenges? As we mentioned, the challenges, it is the size of the data, the data format, the biggest challenge for me, multi-tenants. These are the problems which we can face. Of course, here, gentlemen, it is very important, very important, very important, very important. And I will stay saying very important till tomorrow, that this, it should come very clear in your contract with the cloud service provider to define the rules and responsibilities related to the digital forensics. Because now, if you have a case in a court and you have a warrant and the case requires some data and the cloud service provider, he does not cooperate with you and provide you the data on time, you will be in trouble. You will be in real trouble. Then this, it must be very clear in the contract. Very clear in the contract, and you define roles and responsibilities and who is responsible for what. It may be a RASI model or whatever, do it as you like, but it should be very clear. And my advice, don't do it yourself as a technical person. Just give it to any lawyer or the legal department. Let them to do it themselves. If they need any technical advice or information, you have to provide it to them. Okay? What are the forensic data collection methods? Of course, if we want to have to collect the data, we have to collect the data in specific methods. It is very important, gentlemen, to have a chain of custody. What is chain of custody? Chain of custody, this, it will be the history of your data from the how you preserve when you get the data, what are the steps which is passed by this data till it is provided or it is submitted in the court or to the authority. Also, it is very important to preserve the original integrity of the data. What do you mean? Suppose that this is a server and we had an attack and you start forensic collection on it. Of course, when we say forensic, number one, you have to collect the data from the RAM. You have to collect the data from the cache memory and the hard disks. This data, you must protect its integrity. You should not do anything on this data. You should not touch it. But I want to do my exercises as forensics analysis. Yes, okay, that's great. Take a copy of it. Take a copy and do whatever you want. But the original one, it must be kept aside, and you have to guarantee its integrity. This, it will be provided as an evidence to the lawyer, to the judge. Okay? What are the challenges for the data collection? What are the challenges for the data collection in a cloud environment? Number one, cloud location. Where is my data? It may be in this data center, it may be another data center, it may be in this storage, it may be in a different storage, in the same data center or different data center, and so on. Then the location of the data, believe it or not, it is, and sometimes it's not unknown. I don't want to even to tell you the location of the virtual machine, it is not unknown, it's unknown. Today I have a host and it has one VM. For some reason, this VM, it is migrated to other host. When I checked it now, it is on host number 1, but after 2 or 3 minutes, it may be host number 2. And this is normal and acceptable in virtualization. Virtualization, one of the features that the VMs, it can be migrated between different hosts for high availability, for performance, and all this stuff. Okay, this challenge number 1. What is challenge number 2? Challenge number 2, data ownership. Usually, gentlemen, we are saying, yes, the customer has the ownership of the data. But here, we don't mean the ownership by its meaning. We mean that who have the control over it. Of course, in the normal traditional data center, you have full control over your system. You have the data center, you have the storage, you have the servers, you have the hard disks, you have the desktops, you have, I don't have any problem. But with the cloud, I am really sorry. I don't have anything here or any control. And also, don't forget, it depends upon the model of the implementation. For example, in ES, you have some control over the application, over the data in the past, over the data, because application, it will be under the cloud service provider, but the SaaS, it will be a disaster. You don't have any control at all. Then again, what do we require? We require the SLA and the contract. If you have to define it based on the cloud model, which you lease from the cloud service provider. You have to define the support, response timelines for data collections, for forensics, and who is responsible for it, and how it will be, what will be the chain of custody, and so on. Chain of custody, this is very important. Chain of custody, gentlemen, you know, I don't know, gentlemen, if you are familiar with what I say now, but this is popular with us in Middle East. In some situation, there may be some cases, and these cases are totally spoiled because we have some wrong actions they took it during the process of catching thieves or smugglers or whatever. Yani, sometimes we are saying we know that this person, he is a drug dealer, but he will be innocent by the law. Why? Because when we captured him during the process, we did not have some permission from whatever a judge or whatever to do this exercise. When this is illegal, it's against the law. When this means that he is innocent and we have to release him. This, it will be the same in the chain of custody. If there is anything which the judge here hesitating that this data, it's not accurately 100% right, then he will cancel the case and will say that this data, it's not acceptable, and it will be dropped. Also, you have to understand that the real challenge here, it is not the data side of the data or the data location or anything. The big challenge with the forensics is the multi-tenancy, because when you are capturing the data, you are captured from hosts, and hosts are what we can say, it consists of all the data from the multi-tenancy, from the multiple VMs. Then it is very important when we will submit the data to the judge, it will be only for the entity which you are looking for, not for anyone else. This, it would be a trouble. And again, when this means that you have a problem in collecting the data, and it can be cancelled or it can be rejected. Okay, these are the points of the forensics. It is very important to define exactly what is the scope which you are looking for. A scope of data collected, it is very important, gentlemen, because in some situation, if you are increasing the scope, it will be very difficult. You may not be able to capture all the data required, and in some situation, you may have some data leaked for other what we can say, other users, tenants, I mean, other tenants. It may be other tenants. I can see a question from Prem. I had a number of questions in the test. Okay, this is a good note. Let me finish this topic, and I will give you the floor to tell us about these questions, Prem, please. Then, for the evidence of this, the evidence management is very important. You have to define the scope, and this, if you did not define the scope properly, you may be in trouble with the regulatory oversight, because this means that you are not managed in a proper way. Prem, please, can you give us more information about this part? I know that you will find a lot of questions in the exam about it.
Sir, this seems to be a very hot topic and a favorite topic of IIC Square. At least in my attempt, at least I saw at least 8 to 9 questions on this one. So what they do is that they try to mix this question along with domain 2 and domain 6. This is a very hot topic, and people make a mistake, and that is why the domain 2 gets pulled down.
Okay. Okay.
So a lot of questions on usually a lot of questions are on chain of custody, I think, which you are discussing, and then this integrity, and then clubbed with the GDPR, there is a breach happened and other things, whether you have to report. So this is a very testable topic and the most hot topic, I think, from IIC Square angle. At least I saw, and then when I checked with others also, I think everyone said that yeah, this topic is tested a lot.
Believe it or not, also, this is a very simple questions, gentlemen. There is no workarounds here. Any question related to laws and regulations, you will not find any workarounds. It's not a technical question. The tricks and the entrapment questions, it will come from technical questions. Laws and regulations, forensics, this is very direct. Chain of custody, you have to protect the data, you have to keep integrity of the data, you have to keep an record for each evidence data, how it's collected, who collected, where it was stored till it was proposed to the judge, and so on. Also, gentlemen, there is another point, very important. It is not only the case that there is a judge which you want to give him this information. It can be for your management. I want to prove that Prem, he is internal disgruntled employee and he is trying to reconnaissance the data. Then I will try to collect the data from his machine and I want to show it to the management that, look, Prem, he installed some software on his machine, he reconnaissance the data, and so on. When the digital forensics, it will not be only for laws and regulations. It can be used also for showing the management how the employees are behaving in the organization. Okay?
I had one question. I remember. I hope I'm not breaking the NDA, but I'll just rephrase the question. The question was the keys, the cryptographic keys are stored with the cloud service provider, and then there is a subpoena from the law enforcement on a particular tenant. Okay, so and then will the cloud service provider, because it is a law enforcement, there is a subpoena, whether the cloud service provider will share the data for the tenant or they should take the permission from the tenant. I had marked it, actually they should take the permission from the tenant, because tenant has only the absolute controller. Even though the keys are with the cloud service provider, he has to take the permission. Only the cloud customer has got the entire the customer has got the entire rights to respond to a subpoena. So he should not respond to a subpoena. That was my answer.
Frankly speaking, I don't think this is the right answer.
Okay.
The right answer that he have to provide it with laws and regulation. There is no discussions. What will happen if the customer, he said no?
No. I mean to say that the point here is that the law enforcement has shown a subpoena, and then he's asking the cloud service provider, I need the data for the particular tenant. So the thing is, I think the cloud service provider has to contact the tenant and then ask him his permission before sharing it with the law enforcement, right? He cannot just like that share it.
No, if I'm in your shoes, I will not choose this answer. Because this is laws and regulations. I don't have an option. What will happen if the customer or this tenant, he know that I am doing something wrong and I don't want the cloud service provider to provide my data to this subpoena, then I will be in a real trouble.
No, I mean to say, yes, you will share the data, but the point is that you will have to take a permission, right? You
No,
cannot just like that you have got a subpoena. So that means a law enforcement can probably go to the service provider and then ask for some from 10 tenants, he can ask all the data, right?
you mentioned law enforcement. Law
Exactly.
enforcement, it will not take any permissions from anyone. Suppose that you know that there is a thief in the door next to you. When you are calling the police to come and capture the thief, he will take a permission from your neighbor who is sitting next door who hide him. No, he will not. He will ring the bell. If he did not open, he will break the door and he will go inside. I don't think that he should. Okay, if he will inform the tenant, that's fine. Inform the tenant, that's fine. But take a permission when the tenant can say yes or no. No, this is not the right answer.
Sir, if you can you allow me to share my screen?
Sure.
I'm just doing it from Cloud Security Alliance. I think I cannot share my screen.
Because I may share mine. 1 minute. Check now.
Yeah. So I'm just sharing the screen here. This is from Cloud Security Alliance. Okay, now I'm just reading this particular paragraph. However, based on segregation of duties security principle, key management ideally should be separated from the cloud provider hosting the data. This provides the greatest protection against both an external breach of the service provider as well as an attack originating from the privileged user, employee of the provider. Additionally, this segregation of duty prevents the cloud provider from unauthorized disclosure of a customer data, such as a compliance with a subpoena, without the customer knowledge or approval. The customer should retain complete control over their data and only they should be able to comply with the disclosure request.
I don't know, Prem. I don't feel that this is the right answer.
Okay.
But you have a good point that if the customer or the tenant, we have the keys, then they will not be able, the cloud provider, to provide the data. But again, what will happen if he refused to give them the data? Then this means that the folks laws enforcement, it will not be able to receive this data by any way, by law.
So that is what he's saying is that even though there is a subpoena can be issued only by a court. So whether it's a law enforcement or the court, both have got the powers, especially if there is a subpoena. The only thing is that he has to inform to the customer that he is sharing the data.
Inform, I don't have a problem with inform. I have a problem with one word, approval.
Exactly, yes.
Customer knowledge, it's okay. But or approval, no. This which I have the concern here. Knowledge, it's your guide to know that. But as laws enforcement, approval, let me think about it, and also I will check in the exam samples which I have. I may find something related for it. But
Okay.
this is a hot topic, and we have to work it together, yeah, because this is very important. You can find this question again, by the way.
Exactly. No, this question will come again, sir, because this is a very testable topic.
Yes. Even if you did not find it in the same words, it will find it in different words.
Exactly.
Okay. What is the time now?
Sir.
It is 8:23. Okay, we have still 8 minutes, and I think 8 minutes it will be more than enough to complete the this module. The other module, gentlemen, that you know, when we mention communication, it is very important. And the communication for the operations team, they must have communication with the vendors. We have communication with the customers, configuration with partners, with regulators. This the normal communication which they must have with their users. Also, they must have the communication with the SOC team, gentlemen. This is very important. We have to work very close with the SOC team, because the SOC team, we are monitoring the security controls, we are capturing the log capture and analysis, I mean the operation team, and we have to send all this information into the SIM, which is managed by the SIM, the log team. You will find that this is the operation and this is the SOC. Here we have logs of appliances, devices, applications, operating systems, desktops, servers, whatever, anything. And all these logs, it must be sent to the SOC for the SIM, when they can consider it as a separate log device, separate repository, we have it as correlation, and so on. Then we must have, of course, very close interaction between the operation team and the SOC team. Then this means that it's very important to understand here, when he mentioned communication, he mentioned external and internal communication. Internal communication with the SOC team, with the users, and external with the partners, with the vendors, with the regulators. Then this, you know, it is very easy, but it is very important. Sometimes it will create some confusion. When we mention communication, it is external for vendors, customers, partners, regulators. It is internal for financial department, for SOCs, SOC, for supply chain. I want servers, I want devices, I want procurement, and so on. When the communication, it is very important. And of course, when we are speaking about any management system, communication, it is one of the most important factors which affect the implementation and the successfully operating and continual improvement of any management system. We are done, gentlemen. We finished module number 5 now, and I think we will be able to start module number 6 today. But of course, if you have any questions before going on our break and your information.
Sir, if I may suggest, actually, can we start the domain 6 tomorrow?
Domain 6 tomorrow? Okay, I don't think that there is any problem. We are moving on a good base. If we will start it tomorrow, then this means that we will be able to finish a week after within 2 other sessions. That's fine. It's okay. If the others agree about that, that's fine. Gentlemen, are you still there or?
Sorry. Can you say again, Mr. Usama was away? Sorry.
I feel, Mahmoud, today you are not with us at all.
Wallahi, I was having wudu, that's all.
What do you have?
Just to in the break so I can pray at once.
لا, prayer, usually I do the prayer during the first break. Anyway, Prem,
No, I was only taking wudu. That's it. I was only
Oh,
taking
okay.
wudu.
Brem, he is asking to postpone the starting of the this module, module number 6 for tomorrow. Do you agree about that?
Yeah, I
Salam?
think we are good. We can start tomorrow.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
It's
Okay,
fine.
right. Okay, if you agree, all of you together, that's fine, because now we are in a good base. We don't have any problem. Then let's start it for tomorrow, inshallah. Okay.
Okay.
Any
Thank you, sir.
questions related to today's module before ending our session?
Oh, operation is very fine with me. It's okay.
By the way, Mahmoud, don't say that. Don't
Okay.
answer the CISC square questions based on your experience. Forget
Yeah, I understand.
about
I'm
your
saying,
experience.
yeah,
If
I
there's
know.
any contradiction between your experience and what it's mentioned in the course, do it as they want.
Yeah, I understand. I'm saying operation was very good. And it's easy to understand.
To
It's
be
fine.
understand, yes, because you
Yeah,
know,
I'm not saying anything about questions now.
I had one of my colleagues, I will not say trainees, he's one of my colleagues. He attended a course with me, and he and when I asked, do you feel you have the same years of experience of my years? He said, this is the reason why did I fail. Why? Because he did not study anything and he did not attend any exam samples or ever. He said, I have my experience for 30 years. I will not be able to pass this exam. And he entered and he failed. Why? Because he said, after I read the manual, they want me to answer specific answers. I will not do this in life, but okay, they see that this another approach to solve the problem. It's not a wrong approach, but he is follow another approach. But from their point of view, this is not the right approach. We need that approach. It will be better. Okay, gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time. See you tomorrow and wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sam. Thank you.